Stone of Tears, Episode 5, Chapter 1, Still. Jebra, tell me what you saw. Every bit of it. Please, it's important. She looked up at him from under her eyebrows for a long moment, then back down at her lap as she chewed her lower lip. It was at morning devotion yesterday, when the bell rang. I went to a square, and he was standing there, looking into the pool. I noticed him because he was wearing the sword of the Seeker, and because he was tall and handsome. And he wasn't kneeling as the others were. He stood there, watching the people gathering, and as I approached, his eyes passed across my sight, just for an instant. The power coming from him took my breath away. A seer can sense certain kinds of power, my dear, like the gift emanating from a person. She looked up at Zed. I have seen those with the gift before. I have seen their auras. They have all been like yours. There is a warmth to them, a gentleness. Your aura is beautiful. His was different. It had that, but more too. Violence, my dear, Zed said in a soft voice. He is the Seeker. She nodded. It could be. I don't know. I've never seen the like of it before, but I can tell you what it felt like. It felt like having my face pushed into a basin of icy water before I had the chance to get a breath. Sometimes I never get a vision from a person. Sometimes I do. I can never tell when it's going to come. Sometimes when a person is in distress, they throw off auras and visions more strongly. He was throwing off auras like lightning in a thunderstorm. He was in great emotional pain, like an animal in a trap trying to chew its own leg off. He felt the horror of having to betray his friends to save them. I didn't understand that. It didn't make any sense. There was an image of a woman, a beautiful woman with long hair. Maybe a confessor, although I don't know how that could be. The aura flamed so strongly with anguish for her that I felt my face, fearing that I would find skin burned. If I hadn't been at devotion, I would have fallen to my knees anyway from the agony of the auras. I almost rushed to him to comfort him when two Mord Sith approached and noticed him standing and not kneeling. He felt no fear but went to his knees anyway out of resignation to the terrible betrayal he had been forced into. I was relieved when he knelt. I thought that would be the end of it. I was thankful. I had only seen auras for the most part, not true visions. I didn't want to see any visions from that man. She started off seemingly lost in the memory of it. But that wasn't the end of it, was it? No. Her eyes came back to where she was. I thought the worst of it was over. But what I had seen didn't touch what was to come. Jebra dry-washed her hands for a moment. We were saying the chant of Father Rahul, and all of a sudden he sprang up. He had a smile on his face. He had solved the puzzle that trapped him. The last piece had snapped into place. The woman's face and his love for her filled the aura. She shook her head. I pity the person who ever puts a finger between those two. They will lose the finger, maybe the hand, and maybe the whole arm before they have time to think to pull it back. Her name is Kaylin, Zed said with a little smile. And then what happened, my dear? Jebra crossed her arms across her abdomen. Then the vision started. I saw him killing a man. I couldn't tell how. Not with blood, but killing him just the same. And then I saw the man he was going to kill, Darkin Rahul. And then I saw that it was his father. But he didn't know it. That was when I knew who he was, the son of Darkin Rahul, the soon-to-be the new Master Rahul. The aura was flashing in terrible conflicts, commoner to king. Zed put a comforting hand to her shoulder. Darkin Rahul wanted to rule the world, my dear, with frightful magic. By stopping him, Richard saved a great many from torture or death. Even though killing is terrible, by doing so he has saved the lives of many more. Surely you should not be frightened of Richard because of that. No, it was by what came next. She shook her head. The two Mordsith stood because he was going to leave devotion. One raised her angle, threatening him. I was surprised to see he wore one at his neck, red just like theirs. He held it out in his fist. He told them that if they didn't let him pass, he would kill them. The aura of violence around him took my breath away. He wanted them to try. They sensed it and let him pass. As he turned to leave, that was when I saw the other visions. She put a hand to her heart as tears ran down her cheeks. Zed, my visions are not always clear. Sometimes I don't know what they mean. Once time, I saw a farmer's vision. Birds were pecking at the stomachs of him and his family. I didn't know what it meant. It turned out to be a flock of blackbirds came and ate the seed he had just planted. He was about to replant and guard the field, but him and his family could have starved if he hadn't. She wiped her fingers at the tears on her cheeks. Sometimes I can't tell what the visions mean, or if they'll turn out to be true. Not all of that kind do. She fussed with her hair. But sometimes they come to pass exactly as I see them, and I cannot tell when they are true and what will happen without a doubt. Zed patted her shoulder. I understand, Jebra. Visions are a form of prophecy, and I know how confusing prophecy can be. What kind of vision did you see from Richard? The confusing kind, or the one that is clear? She shared a deep gaze with his eyes. I saw every kind, Zed. Every kind of vision I've ever had, coming from confusing to clear, from possible to certain. They all came in a rush from that man. They had never done that before. Mostly, I only have a single vision, and I either don't know when it means that it is true or I don't understand it.